pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you guys don't mind, just keep standing just for a second. This is the second month in a row. Just a moment of silence for Pope Francis. It's going to be a big change. Thank you. Okay, Linda, roll call.
Mayor McLeichak.
Here.
Council President Conahan.
Here.
Councilman Corns. Councilman DeSenza.
Present.
Councilman DeCino.
Here.
Councilman Doty.
Here.
Councilman Griggs.
Here.
Administrator LaPlace.
Here.
And Attorney Corsini.
Here. Okay. We don't have presentation night. Appointments?
We have appointing Monica Townsend as alternate one to the Cultural and Arts Committee.
Do we need a motion?
Yes?
Motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, there we go. Okay, guess what? We got a proclamation tonight. We got a couple of them, actually. First one, just a little background here, is when I first got involved with the council, one of the first committees I was put on was the Shade Tree Committee. And I got to tell you, of all the ones, the best group. You guys are the most fun. You guys know how to do your job. You're a combination of knowledge and enthusiasm in getting it done. You know, you interface with the public quite a bit. You know, so you know the fun that goes along with that. And, you know, we all know you just can't keep everybody happy sometimes. And you guys just do such a bang-up job keeping these things going. You know, I know you have, like, some outside influences that come in, like Frank, that starts a lot of trouble, but that's okay. All right, but anyway, if you got a second, come on up here. It's long overdue. We're glad that you're up here to be a filler. Mike? No problem. He gets a good job. He gets to read. Congrats.
Okay, whereas the governing body of the Borough of Middlesex recognizes that in order for a community to thrive and succeed, they must rely on the service, commitment, and passion of others. And whereas it is in the spirit of Mayor McLeichak, would like to honor and recognize individuals throughout the community whom have made exceptional contributions to the Borough of Middlesex as the pillars of our community. And whereas throughout the years, Jason Bond has consistently demonstrated praiseworthy service and unprecedented commitment to the borough and its residents by being an irreplaceable asset to the Shade Tree Commission. And whereas under the leadership of Jason Bond, the Shade Tree Commission has benefited since his appointment as a member in 2004, and whereas Jason has proven himself a valuable asset to the Commission by utilizing his numerous certificates and licenses in the industry, which include the International Society of Arboriculture, New Jersey licensed tree expert, New Jersey pesticide licensed certified tree care safety professional. And whereas Jason has devoted his life to ensuring the preservation and health of borough shade trees and the environment through his volunteer service with the Shade Tree Commission, with which he served as chairman for 10 years. And whereas for numerous years Jason has promoted the borough's participation in Tree City USA, championed the efforts for a tree inventory, and the creation of the Shade Tree memorabilia display at the Public Library for the month of June, and also helped plant the historic Salem Oak seedling distributed by the NJDEP, Big and Heritage Tree Conservation Program to each New Jersey municipality that is now prominently growing in front of the library. And whereas Jason's dedication and accomplishments have been recognized through various projects, including the establishment of the Middlesex Borough Tree Management Plan, and whereas Jason Bond has displayed exemplary service and dedication to the municipality and has become an integral part of the community. And now, therefore, Jack McLeichak, Mayor of the Borough of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, along with the Middlesex Borough Council, and on behalf of the residents of Middlesex, we wish to thank Jason Bond for all his dedication, sacrifice, and labor to our community. I hereby set my hand and seal of Borough of Middlesex to be affixed this 22nd day of April 2021.
All the good stuff that goes along with it. You gonna say a couple of words?
I don't mind saying a couple of words. One tree at a time. That's what we're going to focus on. One tree at a time. take down a tree, we gotta plant 5 more, you know, whatever it is, we're just gotta get the public to be aware of the importance of it. We can't have the public playing doctor with our trees. Would you want a doctor playing? Would you want somebody from the street playing with your lungs? No. You need specialists to work on the trees, not just some Joe or Jane. So I am completely humbled and honored to be receiving this thing. This is an incredible thing. I had no idea this was even coming, well, aside from he told me a couple weeks ago. But before that, like, I just, you know, it's incredible, you know. A lot of support with the Shade Tree Commission. Frank, you've been a great asset there. I'm glad you're there. All the other guys that are there. Linda, you're incredible. You know, there's a couple things that I did learn about being on the Shade Tree Commission. People hate trees, number one. I learned quite a bit about politics and all the different things. So it's all really good, and I guess this is going to allow me to be a pillar of Middlesex Borough. So thank you, and I look forward to more service.
You guys. Gotta do the right thing.
Hold your billet.
All the time for you. All right.
Okay, everyone smile and say, we need more trees.
We need
More trees. All right, one without me in it. Actually, if you wouldn't mind, come on, Linda, get in.
Linda, come on. Get over there.
Yeah, over there.
Jason Maker.
I'm
Board
done.
secretary.
All in favor? Smile, great. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Right there.
Put my thing up here. Jason, we got one other little task for you because it never seems to go away that easy. You would be so kind as to come up here and read the proclamation for Arbor Day. I think it's only fitting that you do that for us.
Good timing.
Timing is everything. It's amazing the way that works out.
Proclamation, Arbor Day 2025. Whereas in 1941, the legislature set aside the last Friday of April as Arbor Day to promote the planting of trees and to encourage the protection of our forests from fires and pests that destroy the beauty and usefulness of our woodlands. And whereas half of New Jersey's total land area is forested or tree cover, and whereas trees play an important role in the ecosystem in which we live, and trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil caused by wind and water, clean the air we breathe, and the water we drink, produce oxygen, provide habitat for birds and wildlife, and reduce heating and cooling costs by moderating temperature. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper for fine literature, wood for homes, fuel for fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees provide increased property value, enhanced economic viability, and pleasing aesthetic qualities along streets and properties in municipalities. And whereas trees planted in yards and farms and schoolyards and parks and along the street and highways creates an enduring heritage for generations that follow. And now, therefore, I,
Jack McLeod.
Mayor of the Borough of Middlesex, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day. In the community of Middlesex, I urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees, woodlands, and support our borough's urban forestry programs. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations.
Thank you. Okay. Councilman Doty.
I'm on, huh? Lectern's getting used.
Lectern's getting a lot of use.
Okay. We have proclamation Denim Day, April 30th, 2025. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month and the observance of Denim Day are intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and has public health implications for every community member of Middlesex County, including lifelong mental health impact, and whereas sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual harassment impact our community, as statistics indicate that every 98 seconds, someone in the USA is sexually assaulted, and every 11 minutes, the victim is a child. And whereas prevention is possible, so we must work together to educate our community about what can be done to stop sexual violence, such as asking, accepting, and respecting boundaries while supporting survivors, and whereas staff and volunteers of anti-violence and prevention programs in Middlesex County, including Middlesex County Center for Empowerment and Sexual Violence Prevention Coalition, encourage every person to speak out when witnessing acts of violence, however small, and to challenge the social norms that continue to perpetuate the culture of violence. And whereas the New Jersey Sex Crimes Officers Association and Middlesex County Sex Crimes Liaisons Officers, in connection with the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, are dedicated to ensuring the effective investigation and prosecution of sex crimes in our community through interagency collaboration and training. And whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is compelling evidence that we can be successful in reducing sexual violence in Middlesex County through increased awareness, prevention, education focused on increasing gender equity, healthy relationships, and bystander intervention, and holding perpetrators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. And whereas throughout the month of April, Middlesex County strongly supports the efforts of national, state, and local partners and of every citizen to actively engage in public and private efforts, including conversations about what sexual violence is, how to prevent it, how to help survivors, connect with services, and how every segment of our society can work together to better address sexual violence. Now, therefore, I, John Jack Mikulicak, Mayor of Borough of Middlesex, along with members of the governing body, do hereby proclaim April 25th as Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and that we join anti-sexual violence advocates and support service programs in the belief that all community members must be part of the solution to end sexual violence, and encourage the observation of Denim Day on Wednesday, April 30th, 2025.
Thank you. All right, rounding it out, Councilman DeCino.
Proclamation for International Dark Sky Week 2025. Public awareness of the detrimental effects caused by light pollution is an impact on our wilderness and human health, as well as an economic impact. International Dark Sky Week is held during the week of the new moon in April, when people worldwide may turn off their lights to observe the beauty of the night sky without light pollution. This year's International Dark Sky Week is April 21st to April 28th. Whereas light pollution has significantly established economic and environmental consequences, would result in the deleterious impacts on the ecology and human health of all communities. And whereas light pollution caused by excessive and irresponsible outdoor lighting represents a waste of natural resources amounting to roughly $3 billion per year wasted energy in the United States, and contributes to diminished energy security. And whereas 80% of the world's population, including the people in New Jersey, live under a dome of light pollution, excessive artificial light at night that disrupts natural darkness and may never experience the visual wonder or ecological and health benefits of living under a dark sky. And whereas the experience of standing beneath a star-filled sky inspires feelings of wonder and awe, and may encourage interest in science and nature, especially among young people. And whereas Dark Sky International, formerly known as International Dark Sky Association, headquartered in Arizona, which advocates in New Jersey, is a globally recognized authority on light pollution, and has created International Dark Sky Week to raise awareness of light pollution, provide free education, resources, and solutions to the public to encourage the protection of and enjoyment of dark skies and responsible outdoor lighting. And whereas Dark Sky International has designated April 21st and April 28th as International Dark Sky Week in recognition of the effects of light pollution on our sky. And whereas night sky, like forest, wildfire, soil, and water is natural resources that should be protected for future generations to experience in the world. Now, therefore, I, Jacqueline Middlesex, Mayor of the Borough of Middlesex, do hereby proclaim April 21st and 28th as International Dark Sky.
All right, so moved. Thank you. Okay, we're going to have some ordinances. Jason, if you want to stay and hang out for the meeting, that's great, but if not, and you're looking to slip out, this would be the exact right time. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming. Okay, we have ordinances for introduction.
Okay, we have ordinance number 2149-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 332-41 and 332-52 of the Municipal Code regarding sewers.
All right, motion to introduce. Second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
May
Yes.
13th.
Okay, the public hearing on this will be May 13th.
Okay.
Okay, next one.
We have ordinance number 2150-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 80, Police Department, Section 80-9, qualifications of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Middlesex to amend the age of eligibility to 18 years old.
Motion.
Okay, motion, second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
May 13th?
Yes.
All right, the public hearing will be May 13th. And last one?
We have ordinance number 2151-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 375, taxation of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Middlesex to create a new Article 6 entitled Exemption Policy for Disabled Veterans and Surviving Spouses.
Okay, motion,
Mayor.
please. Second?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
All right, very good. The public hearing for that one will be on May 13th. Okay, ordinance for public hearing and final adoption.
I have ordinance number 2148-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 420 zoning so as to update the municipal zone based on current demand for municipal property.
Okay, motion to open the public portion.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the public portion is now open. Anyone wishing to come up?
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Maxey. I live over on Decatur Avenue.
I think it's only on this ordinance.
It's only on this ordinance.
It's coming up, yeah, soon.
Sorry, my apologies.
Jump the gun, Paul. All right. All right, seeing anyone else? No? Anyone? All right, at this point, I'd like a motion to close the public
Motion.
portion.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. Now, let's have a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
All right. Any discussion on this, guys? We pretty much beat this one to death.
Yep.
All right. Roll call, please.
Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
And Councilman Griggs?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. All right, that passed. All right, adoption of minutes.
We have approval of the April 8, 2025 regular and executive meeting minutes.
Need a motion? Second? Any changes?
Nope, we're good.
No, we're good. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. All right. Let's move over to the mayor's report right here. It's a quick one for me today, so it's actually pretty good. I mentioned about the Pope. That is going to give some a lot of changes, that's for sure. I'd like to, recognize Robert Grossman. He actually gave us a model. It's a pretty decent size of the USS Constitution. It was one of those things where it popped up out of the blue. We were able to check it out. We got it back here. Right now it's sitting in my office. It's probably going to go to the library or some other public building for public display. It's pretty nice. I just would like to mention his name and thank him because he didn't have to do that. It's a piece that's pretty much museum quality. All right, the other thing I have is I'd like to thank Claire and the gang. They were out there cleaning up Victor Crowell Park. How many people did you have, Claire, at the end of the day? About 20? Yeah, and they were out there for quite a while. I just want to make sure. The only thing I had to ask is, did Greg get a ticket, or he was good?
I didn't hear about one.
Well, then I'm sure he didn't get one. So he was a little worried about that. But I appreciate everything that you guys do. I think, Bobby's going to talk about some of the other things that you're working on, but just so you know, it was a great turnout despite the fact that it got pushed back because of a rain out. And if you do happen to see Missy Holzer, tell her I was looking for her, all right, because I grew up with her. And the last thing I have is that I did have a meeting with Councilman Carnes and Mr. Rosinski over there on the start of the laying the groundwork for the film commission. It was a decent meeting. We got a lot covered. We have things already in the works, and they're looking forward to having people show up and see them at Volunteer Day. And that's all I have for my report. Mike?
Okay, I know he left, but I wanted to extend my deepest thanks to Jason Bond. I'm obviously 20 years on the commission, 10 as chair. Like many of our volunteers, I know Jason pretty well. He's dedicated hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours over 20 years going from house to house, looking at trees, inspecting trees, sometimes the same trees every year, and really to ensure the preservation and the health of all of our borough shade trees. So I wish he was still here, but I wanted to congratulate him. Friends of the Library, their final program for the spring will be this Saturday at 3 p.m. in the community room. They usually don't do programs on Saturdays. It's Vic Leonard, and he's from England. He's giving a free guitar concert. We will be dedicating the Victor Crowell Park Annex building on Tuesday, May 6th. 2 weeks from tonight, it's at 6 p.m. on site at the building. Immediately following the dedication, the ceremony between 6:20 and 6:30 p.m., the Parks Committee will host their second public input meeting. That's for the master plan creation for Victor Crowell Park. The meeting's going to be actually on site at the Annex building. We're going to have chairs and tables. Our second annual volunteer fair is almost here. It's actually Saturday, May 3rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also at the library community room. It's going to be in the front of the library outside. It's going to be bigger and better than last year. Refreshments will be served from 10 a.m. to 3. Three more things. The bathrooms at Mountain View Park are slated to be demolished roughly the first week in May. And the new bathrooms will be constructed after the demolition. We're hoping that the new bathrooms will be open to the public by the end of May. Councilman Carnes is not here. He asked me that I let everyone know that the now complete film commission, as the mayor mentioned, will have a table at the volunteer fair. He also wanted me to give his senior report. He sent it to me, and it's Senior and Disabled Department. This is from Melissa DiMarino. Senior Medicare Patrol will be giving a fraud presentation in Spanish this Thursday at 1:30 p.m. at the Rec/Senior Center. The Motor Vehicle Commission appointments were filled in less than 10 minutes. Melissa scheduled them to come back in August, and she'll announce a date for that. And hopefully that Real ID push will be over with by then. Lastly, Middlesex County is hosting their annual 90-plus birthday celebration and luncheon on May the 15th. It's at 11 a.m. at the Piscataway Senior Center, and you have to register by May 8th. And there's a flyer on the borough website. It's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Looks like this. Mayor, that's it.
Okay, very good. All right, Councilman DeSenza.
Yes, we have a report from the Recreation Committee. Line dancing is moving along. We have 14 participants. Yoga session is 13. Summer playground is 30 are registered. Happy Campers are sold out. 4 weeks, July 7th to the 31st, sold out. Memorial Day Parade coming up on the May 25th. And looking for cars that want to be in the parade, convertibles or specialty cars. Frank, your truck may qualify. Hometown banners, we have 21 sold out right now. Meeting with the pool commission, we had a very interesting long meeting, over 2 hours, but I think we're on the road to resolving what problems we have there. They're actually meeting tonight in the library. Hopefully, everything will be in writing. We're going to have a clear path to having everybody involved.
Well, I see they sent in their request, and they're going to start going down through the, so they're following what we asked them to do. Where it goes,
We can only do our best. It's up to them. That's it.
okay. Councilman DeCino.
Yes, as much as for DPW, they had the boat back out today. They started to use some of the suction thing to see how it would work. It churns up a lot of the leaves and it shoots it onto the bank. You can't get too far in because of the hose. It will shoot it out 100 feet, but it's more water that way. So we're trying to look at ways. It's the first time in, but they're
So
going to be out there every
you're
day.
playing with it.
Yeah, they're playing with it to see how it they gained like 2 feet of depth in wherever they were working today.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
What is the depth?
In the
2
center, he
feet,
was at
1
7
inch.
feet. He was at 7 feet in the center. But
Yeah,
as you
that's
get
the
closer
original
to-
depth.
Yeah.
7 feet?
Yeah.
No.
And it's just leaves?
Leaves, it's churning. It's got a grinder in it, so it grinds up whatever it sucks up. So hopefully, as far as environmental, there's a couple things we talked about invasive species. We'd like to get that ordinance passed because we need these to get sustainable Jersey points, which in turn will get the certification that helps us down the road. There's that one we talked about here. I think that one we could move on. I know we had some pushback on the light pollution. The stormwater management one also was another one to meet DET standard, but we have to talk about that again, I think, in an executive or in a workshop. But what else do I have? Railroad crossing, environmental, we're concerned about some of that. Mike brought that up. So we are looking at grants for that. Alexa's looking into some grants, and even Kevin told me about the grants for the railroad. So she is looking into that now. Like you said, Earth Day cleanup was this past Saturday. This Saturday, Tree Nursery is plantings from 9 to 2 on Rock Ave. So if anyone wants to come out and plant some trees, we'll be there.
How many? 300? 400 this year?
Yeah, 9 to 12.
Oh, okay.
Also, Lenny tomorrow is going to dig the trench for the water, so
Very good.
we'll be ready to do it. That's all.
Okay. Where are we up to? Councilman Doty.
Yep, 2 reports this week. Police report for March. 1,909 calls for service. Well, it was a busy month for adult arrest. There was 24
Wow.
in March. 305 summonses, 43 radar, 29 MV crashes. It's weird, they had a lot of adult arrests, but the detectives weren't super busy. They had sexual assault that they're investigating, open prostitution, a weapons possession, a theft, and shoplifting are some of the highlights for our detective bureau. I also have the court report. Forgot I sent it to Linda. Good thing I was flipping through, reading the whole thing the other day. New business, March 2025 tickets and complaints. Total tickets, there was 306 tickets, 19 parking violations, 287 moving, 11 DWIs. Total complaint
activity. There was 13 criminal complaints, warrant or summonses, 11 local ordinance violations, 3 zoning issued, 4 zoning deposed. New business for February 2025 court. They had 4 court sessions, 2 in person, 3 virtual. There was a total of 370 defendants, 154 cases deposed, 10 DWIs deposed. It was a pretty hefty month too. $43,326.16 total fines and assessments, and our portion is $22,853.99. And I am meeting with them on the 28th, the judge and the prosecutor, to try to get another night of court so they can get caught back up. So I'm going to meet with them on the 28th at 4 o'clock before court. So, okay, just to keep everybody updated on it. That's all I have.
Good job. All right, very good. Thanks. Councilman Griggs.
Yes, City Tree Commission, again, wanted to, thank Jason for his years of service. He's done a great job. It makes a big impact at the meetings. Their meetings are in this room on second Tuesday of the month, second Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. Board of Health, not a lot of new stuff, but they have gotten some noise complaints, so we'll need to discuss how we handle that a little bit, because it seems to be not really fully in their domain, so we're trying to work that out. But they meet, also once a month. They meet on the 3rd Thursday of the month in the community room at 6:30. And the last reports I have are from the zoning and construction. So far this year, the construction department has received $75,422 in payments from 184 permits. In the month of April, we received 20 zoning applications, 23 re-rent resale certificates, and 39 construction applications. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, good, thanks. It's good that they're getting the report back together too, so they, you see that you can start tracking and see how the things are coming through, because that's, we're, especially with the landlord registrations, we like to see them getting hit, getting to the court, and getting deposed, for sure.
Thank you.
All right, administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. The hearing for the proposed 2025 budget, which was introduced on April 8th, is scheduled for the May 13th council meeting, and that'll be held here in Borough Hall beginning at 7 p.m. We received very good news that Middlesex Borough has maintained its current Standards & Poor's global rating of AA for general bonds, that's long-term, and a rating of SP1 plus for our bond notes, which are short-term funding. This shows that Middlesex is stable and is consistent with the rating received by the borough in 2022. I'd like to thank the mayor and members of the council for their wise leadership and commitment to sensible spending, as well as thank our Chief Financial Officer, Carolyn Benson, for her hard work, financial planning, and guidance. As mentioned by the council president earlier, the public participation phase of the Victor Crowell Park master planning process is well underway, and the second public work session is scheduled for Tuesday, May 6th at the park. We'll be using the annex building at 302 Union Avenue. There's information about the process and the next meeting on our municipal website. There's a special page devoted to this project. And we've also received a lot of, we were doing a survey to just ask people what they're interested in and concerns and issues, recommendations, suggestions, and we received a lot of those surveys back from the community. So there seems to be a lot of enthusiasm for the project. Public Works has been cutting grass, mulching, and doing all kinds of maintenance and beautification efforts in our parks and around the borough. Superintendent Vidal has been in close communication with the Army Corps representatives here in town, and we understand that South Lincoln Avenue should be open to traffic in mid-May. This is following the successful testing of the floodgates at South Lincoln, which is taking some time, and also hopefully the coordination and relocation of utilities. Public Service Electric and Gas informed us that they'll be installing new utility poles along South Avenue and that traffic control will be coordinated with the Middlesex Police Department. I also wanted to add, I just found out this afternoon, the Police Department has let us know that South Avenue is going to be closed at Mountain Avenue tomorrow. Looks like most of
Railroad.
South Avenue.
Yeah, at the railroad crossing.
Oh, at the rail, okay, I'm sorry, that's right, the Port Reading one, that's further up,
Yeah.
towards the Denali. And that'll be 6:30 to 10 p.m., so probably want to avoid South Avenue.
Forgot that.
Yeah, avoid South Avenue, that leg of South Avenue tomorrow at 10. Let's see what else. Resolutions this evening include the authorization for reimbursement for Board of Health license late fees that were issued in error. Approval of the correction action plan for the 2024 municipal audit. Approval of the 2024 recycling tonnage application. And the promotion of Tyler Grinnell to full-time zoning and code enforcement officer, which will be effective September 2 of 2025. The agenda workshop this evening will involve a discussion of the vacation of paper streets that were never built, and they're actually on the site of the former Middlesex Presbyterian Church. This is at 1190 Mountain Avenue, which is lot 1 in block 219. And in executive session this evening, there will be discussion of the PVA contract negotiations that are underway, as well as pending litigation with New Jersey American Water. That's my report.
All right, very good. All right, shuffling down the list, we're at privilege of the floor. This is your chance. All right, step up to the mic, name and address.
Brzezinski, 441 Fairview Ave. I mean, I can't even address the promotion of Tyler. I mean, it just defies logic. I don't think there's a person up there who hasn't fielded a complaint about this kid not doing his job from someone other than me. I don't know how rewarding his performance so far is going to result in better performance going forward. There's obviously something else at play when it comes to Tyler. I have no interest in what it is, but it absolutely defies logic. The hiring process was weak at best, and here we are, and Councilman Conahan, I messaged you in October, and I said this is exactly where we'll be, and it's exactly what's happened. So my first instance in dealing with Tyler was regarding the noise that is coming from the other side of the tracks at that tech company. He didn't do whatever it was he was supposed to be doing, but beyond that, I brought it here to a meeting, because that's what you're told is the process. I brought it to the meeting. I was told that there was going to be an ordinance drafted and put in place. I wanted to check on the progress of that ordinance.
Well, funny you should mention that. There's actually a lot of wheels that are spinning with exactly this same process, because I know that's why Paul is here also for the same thing. Right now, this is actually coming from the Board of Health, and this is also going to be part of the JLUB, that where they have a model ordinance. This is going to be working from Middlesex Borough, not the county of Middlesex. It's
Jack, I have it here.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, even better yet. I was trying to read it. Perfect,
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
That's the ordinance, and then the email.
right, they have an ordinance here that talks
Yeah.
about the guidelines for investigation of noise complaints pursuant to the state of New Jersey noise control regulation and the model noise control ordinance. So this is what we're working off of to try and get there. There's a lot of stuff that's actually involved with it, because when
That's the county's ordinance. So you tell me?
actually, I believe this one comes from the state.
Okay, where's our ordinance? That's what I'm curious.
We don't have one,
Okay.
but we have to use this as a model for one. We're going to get one. That's what we're going to work on.
That's what I keep hearing. So I was here months ago and was told that they
But
were getting work on.
I understand that, but you know what? We tried doing a couple of different things to try and get a reasonable solution. Some of it is subjective. Part of it is, though, is that you have to remember is that we're trying to work within the confines of, and it's not safer. It's a police ordinance.
Nuisance.
It's not a nuisance claim. There's
disturbing
another
the
word for it.
Disturbing the peace.
It's disturbing the peace at night. That it's kind of wide open. If you're disturbing the peace, you get a ticket, and then off you go, and then it pushes along. This is more of you're there with a meter. It reads a number, and if it's over a number, it's a problem. If it's under a number, it's not a problem.
So I was told again at the same meeting where we talked about starting the ordinance, that the process in the meantime is you can call the police department.
And that's what's been happening.
And when I call the police department, first, of course, I don't reach our police department, I reach dispatch. They have no idea what I'm talking about. They then send an officer out. He calls me. He's not familiar with the situation. He doesn't know where the noise is coming from. And no one has written any tickets. Has anybody written any tickets from the noise? Because the noise is ongoing.
And at this
I
point,
know Councilman DeCito has heard it. It's insane. This isn't like there's a nuisance sort of noise. This, at its worst, sounds like metal is raining down from the second story. They have other things going on there as well. There's smelting that's going on. There's a lot of illegal activity over there. There is. And somebody needs to call the EPA, call the state, and do the kind of things that a code enforcer would do if they went over and saw what was going on. I called Tyler when this first started. I said, let me give this kid a shot. I haven't worked with him before. I called him up. I told him about it. He said he'd get back to me. He did not. I called him 2 weeks later. His answer was, I've turned it over to the state. We abide by their ordinance. I said, Tyler, what is that ordinance? And he was silent. And I told him, and I used far more colorful language, don't let me get off the phone and go to the state website and find the ordinance that you're not aware of easily, because it won't be good. I got off the phone with him, I looked the ordinance up like that. He didn't even know the ordinance. Now, I'm under the impression he's been over there at least once. And
the police have been over there several times at this point.
And you know, some of the police have even said to me, it's a code enforcement issue. If you don't have a code enforcer that's willing to enforce your code, you can have all the ordinances you want.
That's incorrect, okay? I'll tell you, because it's gone past that. All right, it has, because it's not just you. I know Paul in the back has done several times, and we've gone out there, and actually he had one time, as a matter of fact, I believe it was either the last time or the time before, he made a statement in the email or a phone message that he sent to me that said the police said that this was unacceptable also, or something to that effect. And the very next day, I contacted the chief of police to go back and say, that's all fine, well, and good that people may be saying this. But what I want to understand is, if this is what they said, and this is in violation of our keeping the peace ordinance, why wasn't a ticket given? Why? And then they came back to me and said, after he checked it out, and said, because they didn't think it was excessive at that point. Well, now we're sitting there, because I know Bobby's involved, Mike's involved, Kevin to a certain extent, Michael's involved, and I'm involved. And we're going around, and pardon my phrasing here, this is a circle jerk. So now we're going a step further. So now we've actually reached out, and now we've gone to the county, because we have to take the subjectivity out of it and put objectivity into it. Either it's noisy or it's not, and we have to go through what the state is requiring us to do. We have a model ordinance here that was sent to us by Bob Scher. We got a couple of other things that they do. He has a couple of other recommendations on here. That's what we're going to do. The only thing I'm going to say at this point, Kevin, your point is well taken. I'm not disagreeing. Do me a favor. Give me 2 months, and let's...
No,
I don't want to...
2 months is going right in the summer. This is the warm weather.
I understand that, but you have to do...
Let me add this piece.
All right.
My wife works as a special needs pre-K teacher. She comes home from work after being bitten, pooped on, peed on, spit at, cursed at. A week ago, I had to take her to med-merge because a student with behavioral almost cracked her jaw. She comes home from work, goes to sit out on the deck, and it sounds like the end of the world on the other side of the tracks. I've done all the steps you're always told to do. I brought it to council.
I agree.
I've called the code enforcer. I've called the police. The noise is still happening, so I'll take additional measures. If you knew the amount of people who reach out to me about this, and I'm telling them, I brought it to council. They're doing the ordinance. They're doing this, and they're all telling me the same thing. Nothing's happening. So I guess bringing 30 or 40 of them in here with the same complaint may get us somewhere. We'll find out. But
you don't even have to get that far, Kevin. You don't.
Wait another 2 months. It's not going to happen.
I understand that, but you got to understand, it's a way further now than it was before.
And it's nowhere near where we need to be.
Well, not yet, but it will be.
And I got to think part of it is because we don't have a code enforcement that actually enforces code. They took it by the horns when it started, and I first brought the complaint a year ago. A year ago.
Kevin, I'm not going to dispute with you. I think it's way too long, but we're not going to play anymore. Because we tried to do the right thing. We tried.
I've done it. I've played by the rules. So now we just need to activate the community, and all these people who keep telling me about it, and all these people who have their problems, we'll bring them on in and we'll tell you.
Well, the only reason I'm going to say is, you know the way this works. We got to go at least two rounds with an ordinance, and then we get it going.
There's been time to do that.
Huh?
There's been time to do that.
I'm not saying there hasn't been, Kevin.
Why hasn't there?
Because we tried other routes to get this resolved. Obviously, it's not working.
I'm not dealing with the noise.
I don't know. I want you to deal. We shouldn't have to.
Just like with the Ambrose, with the Cedar Crossing, with Heather Lane, I'll just jump in and do whatever it is I got to do. Make sure stuff out. Thank you.
All right. But things are happening. I can assure you. Sorry.
Dave Polkevich, 240 Hillsville. A similar vein to Kevin, not exactly what his thought on his take of it, but you're promoting the zoning officer full-time. I was here a month ago or 2 weeks ago, and I heard that couple give a very upsetting description of what they have to put up with. Someone who looks at this, and I have not had these quality of life issues that Kevin and some of the others have had. But people who have are going to, maybe see this and say that you're promoting someone who, for the last couple of years, in their perception, has not done the job. What are you going to say to those people?
What are we going to say?
Yeah.
What we're saying, Kevin, sorry, it's still on the Kevin mode, but Dave, what we're saying is that we recognize there is an issue. That's why we're moving this from part-time to full-time. I wish it was occurring a little bit faster. We did have a process. I wish it could have been done a little bit better, but that's okay. We're at where we're at. And to be quite honest, at this point in time, with the candidates that have presented themselves, and there's been quite a few, this is a route that we feel is the most appropriate for Middlesex. Don't think that it's just going to be what we had before, because it's not. Because when we went through the interview process, we were very specific of what we were looking for and what we were expecting to have happen. And we're not going to just be like, oh, it's okay, things are as they were. No, we're expecting a lot out of this. And to be quite honest, he knows, and I'll say this for the public record, if we're in the same spot in 6 months, we're going to be looking for another code enforcer. Because we made that very, very clear.
Okay. Well, Kevin talked about his situation going on for a year, that he's been pushing this noise issue. The couple that was here last week, or 2 weeks ago, I believe the gentleman said he's been calling about this for 3 years. Why is it taking 3 years to get his issue in his neighborhood addressed? And I don't even know if it's still been addressed, but I'm assuming it has. Why is it taking 3 years?
Honestly, Dave, I can't answer that one. All I know is that it was brought to my attention and we're doing something about it.
And Mayor, I'll add to that, because after the last meeting, I did speak with our code enforcement officer. The issues that are at that property that the couple were discussing, the neighborhood issues, they've been addressed on a regular basis. They've been out there, the police have been out there, other agency representatives have been out there. It's an ongoing problem, because, for instance, with rats, that's an issue that you have to manage. You don't solve it. Rats are not, you can't, it's like the geese. They're not going to leave Middlesex completely.
Right.
So you have to manage the problem. So different efforts have been made, and we're going to continue to do that. And as the mayor said, now with hopefully putting in full-time resources, we'll get a better response. But I spoke to Tyler right after that meeting and let him know that we really need a special focus on that problem area that the residents brought to our attention.
Well, I think there's two parts of it. The zoning process, when there's a summons, as it is, can be time-consuming. I'm sure Mr. Corsini can speak to that. He gets somebody tied in court. They file a motion, you file a motion, whatever. But I think what's getting people ticked off, and I have a neighbor who's involved in this, I know you guys have spoken to him, is when you initially report something, there doesn't seem to be any urgency to go out and assess it and see, okay, do I need to bring in the attorney? Do I need to bring in the police? Do I need to bring in somebody else? And there doesn't seem to be any urgency. And how is that going to change?
Dave, you just have to be more aggressive and put more feet on the fire and get more people out there. That's what it is. I mean, we recognized that 2 years ago, or when you sat there and said, how come things aren't getting done? You can't do some of these jobs part-time. That's only the tip of the iceberg. There's stuff all over town I see that we want to have addressed. You know, and part of it is working not only with the code enforcer, is working with, and just, you know, you hear only one side of it, but the other side of it is, you know, how does it tie into the courts? Well, now you're tying into the courts. Well, guess what? We got a 3-month backlog. How do you give a guy a second ticket when you couldn't even get him in there to go through the first thing? You know, that's a problem. That's why we're trying to pick these things off, because you know what? Maybe in the past there was a reputation. You got a ticket, don't worry about it. They're not going to do anything about it. Maybe that's the way it was. I don't know. But right now, that's stuff that we can't have happen anymore. You get a ticket, you should be, and you're guilty, you should be fined, and you should be paying that fine. And if you don't want to pay that fine or you want to ignore a ticket, there's going to be consequences. And I don't know whether that was happening in the past.
Okay. Well, so you seem to be buying into there needs to be more urgency to this.
Well, of course.
Why is the full-time status not happening until September? You got a whole summer when you could have some violations going on, and we're not moving it until September.
Well, I can address that. First of all, he's already here. He's working on a part-time basis, but he's already on the job. He's already been given additional responsibilities to gear up to when he's going to be a full-time person right after the summer. He had some vacation and other plans that we wanted to honor, before he comes back full-time. And also, we're restructuring different practices within the department. We're going to even be making some physical changes. So I think by the time September 2nd kicks in, the first day of his full-time assignment here in Middlesex, we'll have a lot of changes in place that are really more effective. So we needed some lead time as well for the transition.
Okay, well, one last question along those lines. And I didn't notice this till tonight. I was sitting out there reading the agenda in the hallway, and I look up and I guess there's a window across the hallway there. It says zoning office open 2:30 to 4 o'clock. I think it says. Are those the only hours that the zoning office is open, 2:30 to 4 o'clock?
Well, that's when he's here because he's part-time. That's when he's physically in the office. He also has to go out and inspect different sites and, follow up on calls. I think the first 45 minutes he usually spends checking messages and getting back to people, that sort of thing. So that's when he's available to the public for walking.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Paul Massey, 521 Decatur Ave, Middlesex, New Jersey. I've come here tonight to ask for your consideration in imposing an ordinance that restricts the hours of operation for the entire industrial zone located on Baker Avenue. And I have reasons for it. First and foremost, quality of life. I have multiple phone recordings, audio recordings, unedited recordings, videos, you name it, pictures of multiple businesses over there, 24 hours a day, between backup beepers of heavy equipment, tracked equipment, skid loaders, skid steers, backhoes, bobcats, you name it, trucks unloading and loading dumpsters, trucks backing in trailers, planning into loading docks. Every hour of the night, you name it, I can show you a video and play it. Second most, I think there's a serious health risk here. I really do, because I just about an hour before coming here got the over request that I put in from the EPA from the state for Hakai Infotech LLC. That's 172 Baseline Avenue, Unit 3. I don't know if you guys are fully aware of the gravity of the situation. So just last year, they were issued hazmat. Hazmat went through there. 15 gallons of diesel fuel and motor oil. 15 gallons of diesel fuel, 15 gallons of motor oil. The place has no gutters, no drainage systems, no catch basins. They observed it. The area is open to rain. They observed engine blocks stacked on a concrete pad. Motor oil, diesel fuel was running into a drainage basin adjacent to the property, which led directly into the Ambrose River. They saw rainbow oily sheen slicks in the Ambrose River and in Lake. That's all reported. I have it all on my phone. I actually didn't really have time to go through all of it. I only went through a couple of the reports. But I will read you this. One second. This comes from Philip McCrellis, Registered Environmental Health Specialist, REHS, and Acting Air Program Supervisor, Middlesex County Environmental Health Division. He has his ID number if you want to hear that as well. They are conducting open burnings without a scrubbing system, releasing harmful compounds into the air. Hazmat states hydrocarbons, cyanide, and other chemicals are likely being released into the air during the process. Like I said, I have photos, videos. I have about a 72-page report of the cleanup efforts that they had to pay for the state to come and clean it up. This place is running amok, and nothing's being done about it. Nothing. You said about the noise. That was my original complaint. So you said you have to be more aggressive. You just mentioned to that gentleman, you have to be more aggressive. I went over there. I photographed it. I saw things from my own industrial background that are violations. I know that for a fact. Confirmed when I called the 24-hour hotline, and an agent went out there from the county, did an inspection, and her words exactly to me was, this is beyond what I'm capable of dealing with at a county level. I'm forwarding it to the state. The state came in. We're seeing where we're at right now. Last I heard, I spoke to her earlier, they have 7 days to submit all of the billing information from their transport of all this, but word of mouth from all the handwritten reports are the owner says that all this hazardous waste is being, and I quote, shipped to India. That's what his answer to it is at this time. They have, their solutions to it are that they have plastic tarping down around the property. I have reports that say it's only in one 10-foot section of it. And this is cascading. This is 2019. No violations of solid waste removal. 2021, violations of solid waste removal. 23, 24, and here we are 25. If you'd like, I could read you the report that was just taken Tuesday of last week. It's about a page long from Amber, I can't remember, Fisher, I believe her last name is. She went over there and she
from the state DEP?
She's from the county. So I called the county, I called the state, and the state kicks it to the county in which the town resides, Middlesex County. She went out there on Tuesday, did her report, and like I said, she said it's beyond what she's capable of handling at this time. Went to the state. She is so invested in this. Doesn't mean anything. I don't mean anything to her. I told her 10 times, I'm a nobody. I went over there, here's my photos, here's my videos, here's my call. She is so invested in it, she went out there Thursday with the state and met them there, just to go, hey, look at this, hey, look at that, don't miss that. It's a disaster. It is a disaster. It really is. Absolute disaster. Go over there. Please, go over there. And also invite all of you, look up the hazards of a secondary aluminum smelting business. Look it up. That's going on right there. 400 feet from a house. 400 feet. They're operating all this equipment 24 hours a day.
They give life too.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I have an 8-month pregnant wife. And I'd like to add this too, is we sleep with a white noise machine on full blast. Having our windows open in nice weather? Absolute joke. Haven't done that in years. Haven't done that in years. I sleep with literal earplugs. I almost brought a picture of them on my nightstand. Earplugs in. Now, when I have a newborn in my house, that goes out the window. Can't do that. You can't have a white noise machine. You've got to be attentive. We're going to hear what's going on. Right? What do you say to that? And also, your thing about the county, right? That ordinance that you're trying to, push and sell on everybody, right? That's already in place. It's already in place. If I call the county, they will set up a lady. Her name's Brianne Peters. She works under Film and Crouch. She'll come out to your property and take a noise read. 65 decibels during the day, 50 at night. Problem is, you have to reserve them ahead of time. You have to schedule ahead of time. I've been trying for 2 years to nail down in a notebook the schedule of this business. When are they dumping? When are they burning? When are they melting? What are they doing? All their processes. So I have the best shot at her coming out there and going, yep, got it, we can move forward. Can't do it. Can't do it. There's nothing. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, dealer's choice. It's impossible. It's impossible. So that's going to do nothing. It's going to do nothing. So that's why I'm asking you to impose this ordinance. And if a business wants to operate outside of those hours, apply for a variance. What that does for you guys, hey, this business wants to do blank at 10 o'clock at night. They want to extend their hours 3 extra hours, 2 extra hours, whatever. Go to the police. Go to the police station. Hey, have you had any noise complaints from this property that you've investigated? No, approved. No problem. But, I'm so happy I came down here for all this environmental health and the Victor Crowell Park conservation efforts, all this stuff about environmentally conservation, and this is going on right there. Right there. Right there. I think you live in the area too, right? You heard it, right?
Every day.
Every day. Heard it?
Paul,
Heard it.
after I talked to you Monday, I went there Monday.
Yeah, and I know this comes down to, look, we could knock this out right now. Heard it? Heard it? Heard it? There you go.
I spoke to Nevis, the guy, that's the manager there. He's telling me that he doesn't do the aluminum rims. He hasn't done the aluminum rims in 40
You
years.
want to see pictures of them?
No, I'm not. I know they're there.
I'm telling you right now, I will make.
I'm not saying it, I'm just telling you.
Give me a violation. Fire, OSHA, health, safety, air, water, hazmat. I have written proof in my pocket right now. You name it, I can produce it. Give me 2 minutes.
Who can we send it?
Name one.
Who can we send?
OSHA.
Who do we
OSHA violation. Failure to implement a respiratory
You need
issue.
to call
This
somebody.
is carcinogenic dust. One of the most flammable dust is aluminum dust from the production, the secondary production of an aluminum smelting plant.
It'll blow up.
Wasn't it on fire? Just Tuesday, wasn't our fire marshal over there? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? All I had to do, and I don't want to call any names out, I don't care, Tyler, whoever, couldn't care less. Me. He said people before, me. Placed the call over there. Tyler. I went over there and issued him something. At no point, Tyler decided to look at his feet and go, what am I standing in? I went over there. I'm a nobody. I went over there in my van, my work truck, pulled in the parking lot. I saw two things. One single item that I believe I explained to one of you that stood out to me that told me exactly the type of work they're doing there. Within hours, the EPA was there, the county. You know what she said? Too much of a problem for me. Too much of a disaster site for me, basically. I need to go bigger and call everybody in. But yet, here we are. Oh, yeah, no. The noise thing, right? That's what's going to solve our problem. There is a much bigger problem. You know me, it's been noise. For 2 years, it is so much bigger. So much bigger.
All right, we beat this around to death. What I would like you to do, if you could, is please provide me with the last emails or reports that you got from
You want me to
OSHA.
read it right now?
No,
The
I don't.
report
I don't.
Last week, Tuesday of last week.
Listen, we're not going to sit here and you're not going to do that. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
If you want to get help, I'm trying to help you. All right? I'd like to report with the person's name, the last one you talked from OSHA, DEP, and the EPA. I'm sure there's some specifics on there.
The OSHA wants public information. You could have Googled that when I first brought this up.
So basically you did it, but you want me to go fishing around for it. You tell me you have it all, but you don't want to give it to me?
Nobody.
Huh?
Nobody. What's your first line of defense? I call the cops. Second line of defense, call the zoning. When the police tell me it's a zoning issue, I go to Tyler. Tyler tells me it's a council thing.
Listen, Paul,
I'm listening.
are you looking to get help out of us? Yes or no?
Are you looking to give me help?
I'm trying, but the first thing I ask you for, you tell me go look online. You tell me you have everything, but then you won't tell me to look online.
I could public information. You could have looked it up. That's exactly what I said. I could have.
Do you have it? Yes?
100%.
Fine. Are you going to send it to me?
More than what I've just described.
Are you going to send it to me, the last OSHA, DEP, and the
Just the
EPA?
last? You want just the last? The most recent?
For right now, if I need more, I'll ask for it, but this is just the last one.
Do you want the videos of Falvey carding? And the photos of them
If
loading up
just
at
the
5 o'clock in
last
morning?
communication.
No. The original thing that I was asking is the entire zone. The entire zone. Don't just fixate on the number one offender. Because I was asked personally, a 1, 2, 3 breakdown by Mike himself, who was the biggest offenders. They're all right there, front center stage.
So but wait a minute. You're telling me that you started off with noise, now you came in here and you said there's a bigger problem than that, but yet you don't want to talk about the bigger problem.
I just talked about the bigger problem. For,
But
for 10 minutes.
I know that, but that's the big, I want to go after the bigger problem.
I want to go after the whole problem. The whole problem is that entire zone that keeps all of us in that area up every single night of the week. Every day. Your guy 2 seats down for you. Every single day.
All right.
You want to fixate on the one thing.
I'm not fixating on one thing. I'm telling you that it's a two-part. There's an environmental issue for one, and the second one is a noise one. And we told you we had something going on with the noise one, and we'll follow it through.
It's already in place, doesn't work.
Pardon me?
I'll tell you that right now. It's already in place, doesn't work. I called the county myself. Your ordinance that you want to impose, I called them. This place is so sporadic. All this noise is so sporadic. And they don't have a 24-hour hotline. You cannot call them after 4:30 in the afternoon. When I'm woken up at night, let me finish. When I'm woken up at night because of the problem, and I got to put the white noise on, the earplugs, and I call the cops, you want to see the phone calls? 12 calls to the cops in the last 4 months, all of them after 11 p.m. Who do I call for that? Who do I call for that? You want me to call your county noise ordinance people? They don't come out. You know, when I get a phone call at 9 a.m. the next morning, hey, is the issue still ongoing? I don't know, I'm at work. Can you call Hazard? Never tried that. Never tried calling.
They want to try that.
Well,
They have to react.
I will say this, but I just tried on the holiday weekend. For the first time, I actually smelled her and rubber snow in my yard. I called them about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She said, our field guys are out of the office for the holiday on the weekend. They'll see it Monday morning. So, yes, that's, I assume, I don't want to assume that's probably the answer that I would get.
All right, at this point, Paul, we're done. Just send me the OSHA, DEP, the EPA, and as far as the noise thing, we'll get working on it, and if we need more help, we'll let you know, and we'll go from there. And I know you're talking about the noise ordinance, we'll take it under, to shut everyone down, we'll take it under consideration.
Just one more question about the ordinance that you were saying is on its way. Is that 24 hours? Is there a 24-hour contact for that?
I haven't seen the whole thing. I haven't read through the whole thing. I couldn't answer that. I would imagine.
Can you just get it in front of you to look at it?
No.
Because if there is not a contact, if there's not a contact
It's,
number.
it's a model. It's a model.
Based off the state model? Or the
Huh?
county model? State model, the state
Yeah,
model
there's
is
probably
50
something
at-
with it.
50
There's,
at night, 55 during the day, you have to rearrange it with
Paul.
an investigator.
we're going to try and do the right thing, but if you're going to sit here and badger me till it gets done, I can tell you it's going to take longer.
Sorry, you're feeling bad.
Well, listen, your 3 minutes are up. Go sit down. Your point's been made, and we're going to do what we have to do.
Well, if you're going to address me, do you want me to come back up there?
No.
You're going to continue talking to me after you said, told me to go sit down, you want me to come back up there?
No, thank you.
We're done.
We're done. Okay, anyone else? All right, good. Let's close the privilege of the floor. Motion to close?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? All right. All right, consent agenda?
We have Resolution 117, 2025, acceptance of standing reports. Resolution 118, 2025, authorizing the 2025 municipal budget to be read by title only. Resolution 119, 2025, approving reimbursement of late fees that were incorrectly applied to Board of Health license renewals. Resolution 120, 2025, approving the reimbursement of $150 to Family Dollar Stores of New Jersey LLC for a Board of Health license fee paid in error. Resolution 121, 2025, acknowledging the change of status for certain properties under the Senior Citizens Disabled Person Tax Deductions. Resolution 122, 2025, approval of the correction action plan on the 2024 audit. Resolution 123, 2025, approval of the 2024 recycling tonnage grant application. Resolution 124, 2025, promoting Tyler Granau as the full-time Director of Zoning and Code Enforcement at an annual salary of $75,000, effective September 2nd, 2025.
Okay, does anyone want to pull any of these?
124, 2025.
124?
Yeah.
All right. And, no, that's fine. All right, so I have a motion to approve all of the rest of them?
Motion. Second.
All right. Is there any discussion? The only thing I just want to mention about here is that, you know, we kind of glossed over it last week, and a lot of people aren't around, but the audit, the corrective action on the audit was like a non-starter. Failure to get checks in that come from outside sources within 24 hours. It's very difficult to be accurate with that. I think it was a minor complaint. With all the things going on here, that's nothing. That's a clean audit. Clean audit. Did a good job. Okay. Roll call, please.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
Councilman Briggs?
Yes.
All right. Let's go with the last one here. Resolution
Do you want to
124.
read it again?
Yeah, sure.
Resolution 124, 2025, promoting Tyler Granau as the full-time Director of Zoning and Code Enforcement at an annual salary of $75,000, effective September 2, 2025.
Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All right. Bobby?
I'm just ready to vote.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
No.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
Councilman Briggs?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. All right. Non-consent agenda?
I have Resolution 125, 2025, payroll claims.
Motion.
Motion. Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeSenza?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Doty?
Yes.
Councilman Briggs?
Yes.
All right. Very good. Okay. Let's move on to the agenda workshop item, vacating of Aubrey Place and Hale Place.
I'll take this. It's all right. I'll take this. As I've had to chat with the mayor and the administrator, there is a contract for a church-to-church transfer next door at 1190. A Presbyterian church is the seller. A Presbyterian church is the buyer. In order for the sale to go through, a title policy must be issued, as is true for all your homes and any sale of property. It turns out there are two paper streets that run off of Monroe, which is the street everyone drives to come in here. It's a one-way street, which is also a paper street that was built. The two paper streets, Aubrey Place and Hale Place, were never built. They are behind the church There is a third paper street all the way back called Genesee, and a cross street further to the south called Wellington. Wellington is also built further up. So the church is the church that is buying the property has asked so that their title report can go through and the title insurance can be issued, that Aubrey Place and Hale Place, these paper streets that were never built, that are on their property, wholly on their property, be vacated. This was done in the 70s. The clerk was not as diligent as our current clerk, and the proper documentation in 1973, whatever it was not filed. So technically these streets were already vacated in the 70s. Proper documentation wasn't filed with the county clerk. So at the next meeting, certainly we can discuss this in this workshop, but it's relatively straightforward. We're just looking to vacate those streets. The church has requested it. There's no reason not to. The prior council, in fact, vacated those streets in the 70s. We're looking to do that again now, formalize it, and this time our excellent clerk will go through all the steps that are needed to effectuate that vacation. Monroe Street here, which is still a paper street that was actually built but never, I guess, dedicated, is entirely on our property, entirely unaffected. And there's also a reverter clause in the deed that if the church had been transferred to another entity besides the church in a time period that also expired in the 70s, the property would have reverted to the municipality, but that clause has expired years and years ago, but remains in the property record. They have asked to vacate that. As I said, the clause expired 50 years ago. It was also attempted to be vacated in the 70s. We would also put an instrument forward to vacate that. So it's more housekeeping. Whether the sale goes forward, it's private sale, private entity, so I can't tell you when it's going to close. I can't answer all the questions. I'm sure Dave Polakevich is turning over in his head right now. But that being said, it is something we'd be looking to do. And I see no reason not to do it.
How long would it take to turn that around?
Oh, well, it's done already. We only put it on the workshop for public transparency, for any questions that you gents and the members of the public might have, but it's ministerial in nature, and we would put it, it's already been submitted to the clerk from my office.
So the next meeting, Michael?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that explanation that if you go to our maps and you don't see these two streets, even as paper streets, the reason is, I guess, the one thing that was done in the 70s or whenever this was originally done, they did take it off the maps, so it doesn't show on our tax maps.
Yeah.
You will find them.
Yeah, effectuating the point that
Yeah.
it was intended to be. If you look at a tax map, you will still see Genesee
Right.
and the unbuilt part of Wellington. It's on the tax map because they are not vacated. They're still there. And Monroe was not only was Monroe not vacated, it's a street.
Apparently they did take it off the map, these two that we're addressing now.
There's a map that was circulated in the packet, and any member of the public's welcome to it. It's just two streets that cut. One of them cuts right through the church. So, the back end of the church is bisected by Hale. So, interesting piece of Middlesex history, two streets that we're looking to take off the book. So,
All right. Does anyone have any issues with this? Vacating the streets?
I don't.
Nope. Kevin? No. All right. All right. Any other discussion on this, or we're done?
no, Mayor.
All right, so we have privilege of the floor on the agenda workshop items only. So if you want to come up and talk about Aubrey Place and Hale Place, then now's your